Get a £5 free bet every week with Offer Club from William Hill. Simply stake a total of £20 or more across the week on pre-match football accumulators with 4 or more selections, and you'll get a £5 free bet on the Friday. Join William Hill Offer Club on mobile or online now.
Good morning everybody, and welcome along to what will be a fabulous night on Friday, October the 7th at the wonderful Hydro Arena, which the Sky cameras were at recently for a splendid night, seeing Ricky Burns become a 3-weight world champion, and something I think everybody in boxing was very proud of. It's been a long road, and I think it was a particularly special occasion with a wonderful atmosphere, and we're delighted to be back there. It's a great weekend actually for Scottish sport, with Scotland-Lithuania on Sky Sports on the Saturday. So Friday night we'll have the big fight night at the Hydro Arena, and it will be a great top main event, and also a fantastic undercard. There's plenty of prospects, young hosts. Somebody I'm really interested in and enjoyed watching last time there is a young man called Joe Ham. Joe is unbeaten in 8. This will be his 9th appearance on the card. He just told me he's fighting a couple of weeks later as well. So keeping busy. Obviously a good amateur from the Commonwealth Games up here. And Joe, just a few words on what it means to you to be on such a night like this, obviously underneath, I guess, somebody who you looked up to from the beginning.
Yeah, definitely. Without Ricky, the big shows, they don't happen up here, so without him, he's the main guy, and everybody up here should look up to him. 3-weight world champion, it's unbelievable, and it's just up to us to try do what he achieved in his career, and if we could do that, it would be amazing.
Joe, how do you feel it's been going so far, your professional career, everything according to plan?
Yeah, definitely. We had a very, very high amateur career, boxed all over the world, boxed for Team GB, and boxed 2 Commonwealth Games, so I had about 100 and odd amateur fights. So now I've had 8 in the past year and a half, and it's been kept busy. I've had 5 knockouts a night, and I'm just keeping progressing, and now I'm fighting in the 7th. And all goes well, fighting the 22nd as well, so everything's going well. Hopefully get a wee title shot or something by the end of the year. You've
got a very exciting style, at least we thought so when we saw you last time out. How have you found the transition though from obviously the long amateur career into the pros?
Well, everybody knows I like a left hook to the body, and that's all because of the man at the end of the table.
Yeah, exactly. You can throw a left hook to the body.
Yeah, so I've had 5 stoppages and I've all been body shots. With the stoppages, so everything's pretty involved. I feel my style as an amateur is always more suited to the pros, and I've adapted it quite well, so here's hope it just keeps progressing, and I just keep winning and look forward to winning titles and bringing them back to Scotland as well.
And Ricky and obviously the others that have come through, your Gary Jacobs, Alex Arthur, Scott Harrison's, it's always been a proud place for boxing, isn't it, in Scotland? We've had some fantastic nights, and you'd like to deliver more going forwards?
Yeah, definitely. It's always known for the brave. Everybody's known as being tough as anything up here, and it's just the case that it's not always just known for being tough. We're also very skillful boxers, but sometimes you're just known as a brave fox. Everybody just knows when you take a punch, you just love it and want more. But we're just progressing up nicely, and hopefully everything just keeps on. Ricky keeps on winning, and we'll just win together.
Watch out for the name Joe Ham. Stuart Burt also on the card. He's unbeaten in 6, and we've got a couple of really good title fights. Scotty Cardle's back defending his British lightweight crown. It won't be against Masha Dodd. I think he's seen the back of Masha for a while. It will be against his mandatory challenger, a good fighter from Grimsby, in Kevin Hooper. So Scotty Cardle will be delighted to be back in Scotland, and tough fight against Kevin Hooper. But we've also got another domestic duel, the heavyweight division, isn't it really buoyant at the moment? Obviously, we've got Tyson Fury and Vladimir Klitschko going back in their rematch. Anthony Joshua returns on November the 26th in Manchester. He's going great guns. David Haye, David Price back, Deontay Wilder overseas. It is the division, obviously the glamorous division, and it's really reignited. And one man who's obviously been entertaining over the last year or so is Dylan White. Dylan, who gave AJ a bit of a run for his money in that bad sort of needle grudge match just before Christmas last year. Dylan's back, and he's in for the vacant British heavyweight title against a rival. They're the Brixton boys, Ian Lewinson. He calls himself Lay 'em Out, Ian Lay 'em Out Lewinson. So I think there will be a big knockout on the night as well, as White and Lewinson go for the British heavyweight title. So that's an extra treat. A couple of really good domestic duels on what is a stacked card. But the top of the bill, the WBA super lightweight title, the light welterweight division. We know the man down at the end of the table was probably the greatest light welterweight we've ever seen, certainly the most exciting and the most popular. But incredible that Ricky Burns came from super featherweight to light welter, and has become a three-weight champion, Scotland's first ever. Absolutely fantastic history-making reward for him and all of his hard work. But I know Ricky doesn't see it ending there, and he's got a defence to take care of against a very, very promising challenger, the mandatory challenger KIRYL RELIKH from Belarus. He's been under Ricky Hatton's guidance, his tutelage for some time now. He's a big puncher, 19 knockouts in his 21 victories. And I was saying to Ricky beforehand, is this the time? Is this absolutely right? And he says, you bet it is, it really is. He's 26, he's been showing everything, obviously down a level or two, knockouts aplenty. So to introduce this man and to talk a little bit about him, we have the two-weight champion, legend of our sport. Always a pleasure to see him. I'm sure he's delighted to be here in Scotland. I can't remember if he actually fought in Scotland. I don't think he did. Ricky, the Hitman Hatton.
Thank you very much. It's great to be in Scotland. I have lots of friends in Scotland. I love the passion of the fans. In this part of the world. But it's a little bit of a fight that I'm looking forward to, but in many ways I'm not. I'm very patriotic. I'm a proud Brit, and what Ricky has done, Scottish boxing, and just what he's done in the ring for the person he is, I can't speak any more higher than Ricky. So I still believe we're like a family in many ways in British boxing, and I feel like he's not on speed dial with me, but I feel like we're all just want to be mates. So it's one respect, we're more than looking forward to the fight, but it is for me one of them nights for me. It's like youth versus experience. You know what I mean? KIRYL hasn't boxed at the calibre of Ricky, but the manner in which he's won at the level he has done shows he's got it in him to jump up that extra level. He actually says to me, Ricky, please no more during the night, want to fight somebody. He's really a man in a hurry, you know what I mean? He's got a real nasty streak about him. He's really, big puncher, exciting style, and it's the right time, you know what I mean? He's in fact best shape. He's not had the rounds under his belt like obviously Ricky has, because he's flattened pretty much the majority of people he's been in, but he trains in my gym like I trained with Billy Graham. And if you remember when I boxed John Thaxton, and my first 12 rounds, the most I'd ever done was 6, and I breezed it, and he'll do the same because he does what I do. So, and he's going to need it, because Ricky, has a very, very high work rate, loads of volume punches, very, very good left jab. He needs to be in the best shape of his life to fight Ricky, and he will be. But that's it, Sean, we're really looking forward to it. He's the real deal, this guy. He is, honestly. I work hard for my reputation. I hope we can stick it on the line for me too, He's the real deal, and we're looking forward to it, yeah.
Ricky, it is a tough one for you, because I know how highly you regard, respect Ricky Burns. What is it about Ricky Burns that's going to be so difficult to overcome in this fight?
The first thing that jumps out is probably the rounds that Ricky has under his belt, and the rounds that KIRYL hasn't, which is a big thing. But like I say, he will not be gassing, because he does what I did, what I did, my training camp, so he won't be found wanting in that respect. He's got to time that jab. You know, Ricky's probably got one of the best jabs you'll probably see. And you know, it's the atmosphere, and you know, the passion that the Scottish fans have. When we came with Michael Gomez when he boxed Alex Harper, I've had nearly died under the ring when Gomez won. But he's, you know, he won't be phased, you know, by the atmosphere and the hostile atmosphere. He's you know, he's got a real nasty streak about him. Nice kid, but you know, mentality-wise, he's got a real nasty streak about him, and he just can't wait. He's been wanting this for so long. Ricky, please, you know, he's got his chance now, and let's see him do it.
What about the power? 19 knockouts in 21 wins, natural
Power, yeah. Some of the sparring he's had in Manchester, in my gym, very fortunate because I have a lot of friends in boxing. They have good sparring that comes to the gym. What weight, light, middleweight, not bothered. Pretty much 90% of the time he beats him up. He does.
Let's bring KIRYL in. KIRYL, great to have you here in Scotland. It's a massive opportunity for you. First of all, let's talk about Ricky Hatton, who's guided you. How important has Ricky been in your career so far? And obviously you looked up to him as a fighter. What's he brought out in you?
Кирилл, добро пожаловать в Шотландию, в Глазго. Мы рады вас приветствовать. Для вас это великолепная возможность показать себя. Но прежде всего, скажите нам несколько слов о вашем тренере, о вашем шефе Рике Хаттоне. Что он дает вам, что дает вам вообще общение с ним и работа в его центре?
Всем здравствуйте. Я, конечно, рад попасть в Англию, тренироваться здесь, тем более с таким специалистом и, скажем так, великим боксером. Великий, то есть мы, ну, скажем так, не сразу нашли общий язык, но я думаю, на данный момент мы друг друга понимаем. Я делаю то, что он хочет видеть, чтобы я делал. То есть у него была великолепная карьера, и хотелось бы тоже достичь каких-нибудь определенных высот. Так что я думаю, наша работа должна принести свои результаты.
Thank you very much for having me here. I'm very glad to be here, and I'm really happy and glad to work with Ricky Hatton, a legend of world boxing. And I would like to say that we didn't find the common language from the very beginning, but now we are communicating and doing really well, and I learned a lot from him and from his experience, and his career encourages me to the greatest career, probably the greatest career in the world.
So you did have one of the great careers. KIRYL, what about your style? How are you going to give Ricky Burns real problems come October the 7th? Is it the power? Tell us more about your style.
Кирилл, поделитесь с нами, пожалуйста, о вашем стиле. Что вы хотите предпринять, чтобы превзойти на ринге Рики Бернса? Несколько слов о вашей технике.
Это такой каверзный вопрос. Я думаю, вы сами все увидите в ринге. То есть у меня хорошая школа, скажем так, боксерская. То есть я могу работать и первым номером, и вторым номером, и контратаковать. То есть я в ринге могу делать все абсолютно. То есть все будет зависеть от того, что мне предложит Рики.
I would say you will see what I can do during the match. But I would like to say I have quite a good school. I can do boxing as number one, as number two. I can do it on a counter-attack, and lots will depend on what Ricky will offer on the ring.
I was saying to Ricky beforehand, you know, what about the timing of this? It's a big jump up to fight for a world title against such an experienced man as Ricky Burns. But Ricky Hatton said to me the time is right Do you believe that?
Несколько слов о вот этой точке во времени, когда вы, значит, претендуете на звание чемпиона мира в этой весовой категории. Ведь прошло очень небольшое количество времени, и у вас вообще был такой огромный прыжок в карьере. Вот. В то время как Рики Бернс это довольно опытный, умудренный боец. Вот Рики Каттон, ваш тренер, считает, что это самое, как сказать, самое время сейчас вам претендовать на эти самые, так сказать, высшие места. Что вы сами думаете об этом?
Да, я понимаю, что у Рики Бернса карьера в 3 раза почти профессиональная, дольше, чем у меня, но у меня огромная, скажем так, любительская база, огромное количество любительских боев, то есть на данный момент я совершенно спокоен, я уверен в себе, я знаю, что я могу, на что я готов. То есть я не думаю, что слишком рано или еще какие-то проблемы могут возникнуть. То есть будет отличный бой, я уверен в этом, я уложусь на полную катушку.
I'm aware of that fact that Ricky Burns is much more experienced fighter than me. His professional career is probably 3 times as long as mine. But I would like to say that I also have quite a career as an amateur boxer behind me. And I don't think it's the wrong time, I think it's the right time. And I will prove that, I will do my best, and I think the moment is right.
So the moment's right. What's the prediction for Friday, October the 7th? What happens? Will there be a new world champion?
Какие у вас, так сказать, прогнозы насчет 7 октября, пятницы? Что произойдет? Станете ли вы новым чемпионом мира?
Другие варианты я даже не рассматриваю.
It's all other versions are out of consideration.
It's, we wish you well, KIRYL. Let's bring in, well, the man that's really changed the face of Scottish boxing in recent years. As Ricky was saying about that wonderful fight with Alex Arthur and Michael Gomez, we've had great nights with Scott Harrison. Obviously back in the day with my former colleague Jim Watt and Ken Buchanan. It's always been a great place here to come. But Ricky, you know, what you've done over the last, 15 years? I think you started in 2001, and I think you were fighting on sort of cards in 8-rounders against Yusuf Al-Hamidi, and we were thinking, is he ever going to get really going? And then suddenly you win 1 world title. Now you stand as a 3-weight champion. First of all, did you ever think this was possible when you were working in the sports shop and trying to sort of, you know, do boxing and a profession on the side, that something like this would happen to you?
No, do you know, my attitude towards boxing, I think I've said this about 100 times now, it's always been the same. I treat every fight exactly the same. Obviously, my trainers will tell you, and Tony will tell you as well, but when I've got a fight coming up, when we go into that 12-week camp, I always put everything on the line, because I know when I step in that ring, I'm doing what I can to obviously to go there and get the win. Obviously I've been, I think that's over 20 years now I've been boxing for, but again, it was just winning the third world title there. I just couldn't believe it was happening, but in my eyes it was just another fight, and it's exactly the same way we're treating this one.
I think that's why everyone's got so much respect for you in the trade, but you must have gone home that night and the next couple of days and sort of pinched yourself and thought, you know, is this really happening?
No, I did. In a way I did, but I've always been the same. After fights, I hate all the attention, I hate people making a fuss, Joey. I just like things to settle down and get back to normality. Obviously get the next fight date and then get the head down again, go straight back into camp.
You made a big decision a while ago, your career, you were in huge fights, the results weren't going your way, you moved down to London, away from the family, in with Tony Burns, and obviously a stable now with the likes of sort of Martin J. Ward, Hara Davis, John Ryder. It's absolutely flying there. Was that a major step for you and a really important one to make in your 30s to keep your career at this level?
I think I had to make the change for myself. Obviously moving down there,
think it was after maybe a couple of months I realised this was the best thing I ever done. When I'm down there, obviously I'm away for like 12 weeks at a time when I've got a fight coming up. I'm just totally focused on boxing down there, no distractions. Like you say, the guys I train alongside and obviously training with Tony Sims, we're all bouncing off each other in the gym and stuff, sparring, and that's always good. I'm sure they tell you that as well.
They do.
Yeah. And also, I couldn't be happier. I'm getting into this fight, looking forward to it.
But you couldn't be happier also coming back here to Glasgow, to Scotland, where you perform in the big Hydro Arena, the nights, the fans. There is something special here, isn't there?
I can always remember when I was up and coming, as you said, I was fighting on the undercards, Alex Arthur, Scott Harrison, and the likes of all them. Then obviously I was headlining myself. Now we're back to the Hydro for the second time. Fans up here are unbelievable. You know, everybody always comments on it. So hopefully it's going to be the same again the 7th of October.
Last time out again, people were saying, "What's Ricky Burns got left? You know, is he going to come through this?" You came through with flying colours in style against Michele De Rocco. What have you got to do with this guy, KIRYL RELIKH? I mean, he's unbeaten. He's obviously extremely talented and promising. He's with Ricky Hatton. He comes with a pretty fearsome reputation as a puncher too. It's a different strategy, a different person to work out here, isn't it?
I know, Joe. He's got my full attention. Obviously a big puncher. All the knockouts. But I've been in. Throughout my career, I've been in with loads of big punchers before. Don't get me wrong, it's no nice to get hit in the face, but I always take them. It's a good job. I always say, we're sparring, or I'm saying to Tony, when we get these kind of opponents, it's a good job. I don't mind getting hit. No, but we're going to treat this exactly the same as any other one. We're training for a hard 12 rounds. Obviously, we're approaching the final 2 weeks of sparring. Everything's been going great, the training's going well, so we'll be ready to do whatever we have to do to win.
Buoyant gym, and obviously a trainer who's really growing in reputation in Tony Sims, also working with Anthony Joshua, so he must have sat down and really studied KIRYL and said, look, we've got a real tough night on our hands.
I know, Joe, Tony Sims is working in quite a few different things. Obviously, as KIRYL said, when you were asking him his tactics for the fights, he's going to adjust to whatever I'm doing. That's kind of why I don't like watching my opponents. I'm a believer, whatever happens is going to happen. When you go out there, you have to deal with that. But like I said, over 20 years I've been boxing for, and I know I'm going out here to do a job.
You still look obviously in terrific shape at 33 years of age. Do you want this more than ever? Is the hunger still burning as much as it did, say, 5-6 years ago?
No, 100%. Obviously, there was a few options before we decided to go down the mandatory route. So we decided to do this, but some of the names that have been mentioned, as long as I come through, or when I come through, these big fights are still an option for me. But like I said, KIRYL's got my full attention, and now we know it's going to be a tough night, but I'm confident in getting the win.
How will you deal with him? Will it be that jab? Will it be the experience? Will it be the fact that you can adapt to situations which maybe he hasn't had to do, even though he had a decent amateur career, that you're just more advanced? Is that how you see it going?
I don't really want to give too much away, but like I said, whatever he's going to bring. Obviously, I'm not one for sitting down and studying my opponents. I've watched a few rounds, but I know whatever's coming my way, I'm going to be prepared and ready to deal with.
You've won a few of these now. You don't want to give this up at the first hurdle, do you?
No, definitely not.
Prediction for the night, Ricky?
Ricky won't win.
And finally, a message to the fans who'll be there, I'm sure in their droves, to support you again, and what that means to you and to the whole of Scottish boxing.
I know, just big thanks to everybody, obviously, for the support. Not all just for this fight, but throughout my whole career. These big nights are always great when they come to Glasgow. Obviously, coming to the Hydro for the second time now. let's hope it's another good night. But it's some great fights on the card. Shape up to be a good night of boxing.
It's great to have him, isn't it? A Scottish legend, although he wouldn't want to call himself anything like that. It's just business as always for Ricky Burns against this very, very tough, unbeaten KIRYL RELIKH, trained of course by Ricky Hatton. So there are legends in the house. October the 7th, don't miss it. It is on Sky and it's at the Hydra Arena. We'll pose for some head-to-heads afterwards, and then the guys will be available for one-on-ones as well. Thanks a lot.
Get a £5 free bet every week with Offer Club from William Hill. Simply stake a total of £20 or more across the week on pre-match football accumulators with 4 or more selections, and you'll get a £5 free bet on the Friday. Join William Hill Offer Club on mobile or online now.